book friends, welcome to Biblio Happy Hour, a podcast about bookstores and everything bookish. I'm your host, Victoria Wood. In today's show, we'll be talking to one of our book friends from over on Instagram. She is the blogger behind TBR etc., our friend Tina. She wrote an amazing blog post entitled 18 Things to Let Go of Right Now If You Want to Stay Happy on Bookstagram. I'm so excited to talk with Tina so we can discuss more about her blog post. Today's episode is brought to you by Biblio, a new online directory for independent bookstores. They also list book clubs and other bookish-related events. If you love the show and what we're doing over on Biblio and you want to help us support local independent bookstores, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/bibliofinder. When you become a patron, you're helping us to list, advertise, and promote local independent bookstores worldwide. You'll also get perks such as access to our full podcast episodes, behind-the-scenes content, an opportunity to send in questions, get discount codes, shoutouts, plus more. That's patreon.com/bibliofinder. We'll also leave a link in the show details. Before we get started with today's show, wherever you're listening, please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a rating and review. When you do this, you're helping us to reach a larger audience, and it is one of the ways you can help us to put independent bookstores at the forefront and make Biblio plus the show a success. Alrighty guys, let's talk with our guests. Tina, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Biblio Happy Hour.
How exciting. Thank you for having me.
We're so happy to have you on the show. Before we get started though, real quick, are you a coffee or a tea person?
Most definitely coffee. I'm actually in a coffee house right now.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm normally
good question.
I'm normally a tea person, but right now I'm sipping on a cup of coffee because I need it to help me get through the day.
Absolutely.
But I'm so happy you're here. So tell our listeners, before we really get started into the meat of the matter, tell us about your reading journey. Are you a lifelong reader? Is this something you picked up? Where did this start?
Sure. So I have been a reader for as long as I can remember. And actually, it's funny. I'm a speed reader. So we did this thing in it was middle school in 7th grade, and basically we had to it was a unit on speed reading, and I remember I was able to read 1,000 words a minute in 7th grade, and everyone they're like, what are you talking about? Like, surely that can't be correct, but it was. I don't know why. I've just been really, really good at it.
No, that's your superpower.
It is. It's pretty great, right? That's why I'm able to read so many books. But yeah, I've been a reader pretty much my whole life. It started with my, mom going to the library, and it was something we always did together, and has continued since then.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, that's amazing. I've been a lifelong reader too myself, so it's pretty new, but I'm jealous. You have a superpower. You can just fly through those pages.
and I remember a lot too, not everything, but yeah, I certainly do. I remember a fair amount.
Right. No, that's all right. That's all right. But tell me, how did you get started on Bookstagram? Because I had first discovered your page, and you probably won't believe it, but when I got invited to BookSpark's Fall Reading Challenge 2018, you were on the list. And that's how I discovered your account, and I've just been obsessed and following since. How did you get started on Bookstagram?
Sure. So I started, I really wish I could remember I'm so thankful I found it. I could not tell you what made me start one. I started my blog and the Bookstagram at the same time. So that was back in April 2016. I had just finished a doctorate in higher education and wanted to continue my writing. I didn't want to lose that momentum I had. So I just kept writing and wanted to review books. And I had Instagram as an extension of that. And then I kind of realized, wow, some folks that are on Bookstagram just do Instagram. So I ended up spending more time on Instagram than I had anticipated. But yeah, I've been doing it pretty consistently ever since then.
That's amazing. I had no idea Bookstagram existed. For me too, it was a creative outlet. And then I discovered this pocket on the internet. I'm like, wait, people do this?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so
And
amazing.
I used to think, I swear, I thought everyone was in publishing. Or for some reason I was like, oh, they must work in the industry, what have you. They're showing these books they got. And then I was like, wait, no, these are just regular people.
No, I know.
I'm like, I can do this. I can do this.
You know what's funny? It's I don't know about you, but when, the whole social media thing had started, I was in university and it was kind of a way to connect with, people you knew. Never in a million years did I think I would be connecting with people I don't know, people who live, miles away, and then you end up meeting some in real life. I mean, it is amazing.
Yeah, no, and I've met some bookstagrammers in real life, and like you said, I think that's probably my favorite part is just having this network of readers all over the world, truly, and it's a really cool thing. I think that we've stumbled into.
No, I agree. This is genuinely the best thing that has happened to me. Bookstagram, the community, and just meeting people and connecting on a deeper level, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, Tina, now the main reason why I have you on the show today is because of your article that was published a few weeks ago, and I discovered it again, online, and it is entitled 18 Things to Let Go of Right Now If You Want to Stay Happy on Bookstagram. I mean, that title, the graphic, it caught my attention. Some of my friends, they were sharing it as well. What inspired you to write this article?
Yeah, I'm literally so happy that it caught on. I have to tell you, I wrote that in about 15, 20 minutes, which for me is an absolute record.
No, stop. Speed reader, now speed writer. No way.
I'm really, really slow. I'm generally pretty slow when I write a post, but for this one, it just kind of hit me. I think where it stems from is on Facebook. I'm a part of some Facebook groups with other bloggers and other bookstagrammers, and it seemed that people had a lot of frustration that they were venting, which of course is appropriate in that setting, right? That we're all in the same, boat, so to speak.
Yes.
But I really just wanted to share some of the ways that I've been able to stay consistent and positive with my page. I've been doing it now, it's 3 years, and I've posted every day now. I think it's a 2-year streak. And that's just something that I, decided to do on my own, and I've been consistent with it. But I thought it would be helpful maybe to other people that I saw focusing on, the numbers or the likes or not getting the advanced reader copy that they wanted. And it took off. I just posted it to my blog and I was really happy. It took off kind of organically. And then, of course, BookSparks grabbed it and asked if they could put it in their newsletter.
Right. I mean, listen, in comparison to you and many others, I'm new to the community. I've been on for a little over a year. I've learned so much in that time, but there is so much takeaway from this article. There is just so much. So essentially you're saying you based your 18 tips based on what has worked for you and what you've seen in the community.
Exactly. So I just kind of, like I said, it just came to me. I was thinking about some of the, and here's the thing, I do want to frame it. I think it's probably easy for me to say some of these points because I now have about 23,000 followers. So for me, I'm like, oh, don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about the likes. And I completely am cognizant of the fact, wow, I'm sitting from this space where not as many people have that number and they maybe wish they did. So, it's probably easier for me to stay positive, but I thought I've kind of tried to have the same mindset no matter what. And one of my big takeaways, I think, with writing it was it didn't happen overnight, and certainly it might for some, but it took me, I think I first hit 10,000 last year in September. So It took me a solid 2.5 years really to get that coveted, 10,000 swipe up t-shirt.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and so, I think some folks get on and I want some free books. That's their motivation. And, that is completely fine. That is absolutely one of the reasons that I think I joined. But it took time, and it's not just about that for me.
So, okay, you made a very, very important point. You only hit 10,000. Wait, let me back up. You've been on the platform for 3 years. You only hit 10,000 sometimes last year. Doesn't matter when.
Yep.
So you had what, I'm not going to say it's slow, but for some people, that might be slow. They want to hit these massive numbers in under a year or, I don't know, overnight. So the point, I guess, that I wanted to highlight is that you were diligent over time to get to this point. But if you were to look back to where you were a year ago or even 2 years ago when you really started to be consistent, how has Bookstagram, been different for you? I mean, if you were to look back and then look at your thoughts today, how has Bookstagram changed?
Sure. Well, I think it's kind of a two-pronged question, right? Like, how has it changed as a platform, but also how has it changed for me?
Right.
Well, for one, my photography is a lot better now than it was in the beginning. But I think that's pretty standard for a lot of people.
Yes.
I would say, don't be too hard on yourself. That was one of my bigger kind of takeaways that I hope people got, was it doesn't have to be the perfect shot. It doesn't have to be completely, the setup that you were hoping for. I would say now there's a lot more, and maybe this is just, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like there's a lot more accounts than there used to be. A couple of years back, it seems like there are a lot more people joining, which I think is awesome. And I honestly don't remember your question.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, you kind of hit the point about looking back and how your account has changed, for example, with the photos and stuff like that. And there are more people joining on the community. But how has your mindset, how has your focus changed from when you just started to where you are now?
So one of the things that has changed in terms of my focus, I used to pretty much strictly post library books or books that I owned already. Obviously, that's how you start out. And now I do post a lot more books that are sent to me. And I do it mostly because I'm excited, one, but also I think to share upcoming titles with people that come to my page. I think I'm probably well known for having more of an interest in contemporary fiction and, the new releases. So I think, but I will say I still do library books all the time. I still post, I don't think you have to own a massive personal collection to be successful. It just so happens now I'm in a place where I am able to get some books sent to me, which I think is, I think it's awesome.
No,
I won't lie. It's one of my favorite parts about it.
I am actually shocked. Let me put it this way. So, one, stumbled upon the community. Two, publishers and authors, because some authors do, send you books for free. I mean, it is mind-blowing that this happens. I mean, I don't know about you, but I never thought in a million years, just being a regular person, not working in publishing, not in advertising, but we're able to access books the way we do.
Yeah, no, it really is. I honestly feel like I just kind of made it up. It kind of started to hit, and people seem to like it, and I love to interact with the people. That sounds terrible. That sounds like I don't think I'm anything special. I just think, wow, I love that I'm able to just share my love for XYZ title or my dislike and have that dialogue.
No, it's amazing. And, more than anything, you just sound grateful to have the opportunity to meet. And I know it's something, I personally feel as well. But on the note of free books and backtracking to the actual article on how to stay happy, your first point, and this was the very first one, and it caught my attention, especially when I just started reading, ARC jealousy, ARC, advanced reader copy jealousy, if you don't know what ARC means. But you essentially said, you know what, you need to let this go if you want to be happy on Bookstagram. Why did you bring it up?
So that is an awesome point. And honestly, this article is for me too. It's not like this is like on my best day what I aspire to be. And I will say that is one thing. Even today, I'm like, dang it, I wish I could get my hands on, the XYZ title that's not coming out until August. And I sometimes do get turned down, and I think that's completely fair. There are only a certain number of advanced reader copies. I do not think I should get all of them, but I find that I am able to stay more positive and happy when I'm like, you know what, good for this person for getting the title in advance. I'll buy it myself come August. But I think I've been seeing, like I was saying before, in some of the groups, there is a little bit of jealousy and a little bit of like, well, how do I get a free book? How do I get this title? And they've been around for maybe a week. And it's like, well, it takes a little bit more. It's for the publishers, it's really a return on investment, right? They do send it to some smaller accounts as well as larger, because their hope is to get it in front of as many eyes as possible. Not to say that smaller accounts shouldn't get the same access, but another thing I did was start with ebooks on things like NetGalley, and that was helpful in really learning how to write reviews. And then once I got good or comfortable with that, I started to request them directly.
So even as what some people would term an established bookstagrammer, again, you have over 20,000 followers, you've been established for 3 years, you get turned down for copies as well.
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
See, that's a thing I feel sometimes we lose sight of, and myself included, that we can't get all the books.
Yes.
Some other reviewer or bookstagrammer, they need the opportunity, and there's no one person who is getting all the books. It's just not possible. So definitely art jealousy is one thing to let go, to be happy on Bookstagram for sure. The second point, theme judgment. And theme jealousy is something I'm not sure I knew existed, not to sound ignorant, but I know there are accounts you're like, God, that's gorgeous. But do you think having a theme is a big determining factor in whether you're successful or whether you'll get arcs? Is a theme a big thing?
No, I don't think so. I think you can be one of two. You can have a theme, or you don't need one. I certainly don't have one, not because I don't like them, but because I'm not really talented enough to do it in that way, and I kind of never found one that worked. So I really just find that I'm posting what I like. I don't care. For me, it's about the judgment piece. I don't care if you have one or if you do not. I think you don't need one. I think there are some people that think you do need to stay consistent and have a recognizable theme in order to be able to grow and to get arcs. I disagree. I do not think you need that. I think I'm kind of proof that you really don't necessarily need one. But at the same time, if you like a theme, if you want to post that clean white background and have all of your photos have the same look, then all the better. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I'm very big into whatever makes you happy, as long as you're not being a jerk.
Right. Or
do what makes it, what makes it work.
Or getting obsessed about how you feel your account should look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that goes back to, don't let perfection be the enemy of the good. Post the photo. Maybe I didn't get exactly what I wanted it to look like, but hey, I'm still getting good dialogue in the comments, and that's what I'm after anyway.
No, I completely agree. Personally, I want to say I'm lazy. I want to spend more time reading books, not taking photos, because I'm not a good photographer. So I end up taking my photos in 1 out of 2 places. I swear to God, I do not deviate, because then my brain goes in overdrive. And I'm like, oh God, how do I get the lighting? How do I get the layout? So instead, I make it simple, actually. I just choose 2 places. I take it. That's it. Move right along, because I'd much rather post a photo, post a review, or share a thought than not post at all because I didn't get it right.
Exactly. No, and I'm 100% in that same camp as you. And now that's not to say there are some people that are way more skilled than I am that are really cool with having their own vibe, and absolutely go for it. Whatever makes you happy. But do I think you need to have a theme or have a recognizable setting to be successful? No.
All right. Another point is the whole algorithm. I don't even think this is unique to Bookstagram, but just anyone on the platform, really. We're all obsessed with the algorithm, oh, the algorithm has me down today, or I'm doing well or not. Why should we not fret about the algorithm?
Oh, and you know what though? Again, this is me on my best day. These are the 18 things that I'm trying to focus on. But I'll tell you, it's kind of that idea of controlling what you can. I personally don't know how to break the algorithm. I think I would make a lot of money if I knew how to hack it. I think there are things that you can do to kind of drive people to your post, but at the end of the day, it's just not something I spend a lot of time worrying about. Again, because anytime spent worrying about that or obsessing with why did this picture that I really liked only get, X amount of likes, takes away from your reading time. And so I'll find myself kind of getting caught in let's open it again and see what else happened. Let's open this photo again and see what else, if anyone else commented. And it's so dumb.
No.
So when I find that I'm able to catch myself getting into that mode and stopping it, it's a much better situation overall.
No, I agree. What's that saying? Let go of the things you can't change or something. I think that's exactly. Yeah. I think that's what I would apply to this situation. We can't control Instagram. We really don't know what their methods are. So just let it go.
That's my. If you want to stay happy, I think that's a good way to start.
No, I agree. Now, the big one for me, which I personally have felt this pressure in the past, and that is feeling like you need to read all the buzzworthy books. Because if you're not reading those books, no one's going to pay attention, no one's going to see, you're just not valid. I don't know how to explain it, but if you're not reading the biggest title right now, are you even a bookstagrammer?
Right, and I'm sure there are people that think that way. For me, I mostly get the FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. I'm like, okay, so right now, I don't know if you want me to say a specific title, but Miracle Creek is everywhere right now.
Yes.
And I picked it up over last week and I freaking loved it. I absolutely loved it. And so that's like one of the things that I really like about Bookstagram is that I may or may not have found that on my own. And so I'm more than happy to share my love for buzzy books. I do think there are some people that like to dissent just to dissent, which annoys me.
Right.
Oh, it wasn't that great. And that's fine. That's your opinion. But why? Are you saying that for real? Did you read it? Or are you saying that because everybody else liked it and you want to be different? I don't know. I think if you're putting too much pressure on yourself to read what everybody else is reading, you're not going to necessarily read to your taste and trying new things. There are some, lesser known books out there that are absolutely worth the buzz. They just are a little bit more under the radar. But I will say there are a lot of bookstagrammers out there too that do focus on some of the lesser known titles. And I think that personally, I'm just I love a new highly anticipated release. So that's kind of my style.
No, that's your style. Yep.
But I'm happy with it. So it's all good.
No, that's the most important thing. Again, doing what makes you happy. But more than anything is letting other people know that, one, you don't have to read all the buzzworthy books to be a bookstagrammer. You can read whatever it is you want.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, how would Bookstagram look if we all read the same books?
Right, for sure. And it's about authenticity. If you do want to read all the buzzy books like me, awesome. Let's have a conversation about it. If you read classics, great. Talk about that. Because I think what'll happen is if you're staying true to yourself and true to your own style and really kind of projecting that, that's where the dialogue and that's where the growth and the genuine connections are going to come in.
No, I agree. Last point from your article that I want to pull is book shaming people. So we were just talking about YA. We don't like it, but we're not going to shame people, right?
Right. Oh, exactly. And it whatever people want to read, again, it's all about, hey, not for me, but whatever you want to read, that's, go for it. But also too, there's some people that freak out. So, okay, for example, I got married last year, went on our honeymoon, and we had this, in the resort, there was this pool that had glass walls. And I was like, I am taking a book into this pool and taking a photo. I'm just doing it. Like, I don't know what to say.
Do it.
And so I got the photo, and you would have thought that I committed a serious crime. Folks were freaking out. The poor book. Oh my God, you can't believe you did it to a book, this and that. And listen, one, it made for a cool photo. Two, it's my book. I mean, I'm not destroying it for the sake of destroying it to be unkind. It was, I was trying to make art and trying to be creative. And I just found a lot of people were freaking out. It was making me laugh because people got so bent out of shape about it. I think there's a lot of people too that are judgmental when it comes to like writing in your books or folding pages or, even the opposite, keeping your books totally pristine. Hey, if that's what you want to do with your collection, then that's your collection. At the end of the day, it's your book. Just don't do it to other people.
No, I agree. And there is this bookstagrammer, honest to God, I can't remember her name right now, but she's super artsy. I love her photos, but she had received so much backlash online because, again, she's super artsy. So sometimes she'll paint her books. She'll tear pages out. She'll write in them. And she got so much heat for it to the point where in her bio, I don't know if it's still there, but it was there at one point, I treat my books badly. So she's letting you know from the get-go that, look, if you are super sensitive to this, if you have a problem, this is not the account to follow because, again, I treat my books badly. But the truth is, to me, more than anything, I saw it as art. It was beautiful what she's doing.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think I know the account you're talking about, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, like you said, it's you remember that article that was going around too? I don't know if you saw it. It was probably sometime at the end of last year where it was one of the bookstagrammers was, I think she was laying on top of her books and she got a ton of criticism in this
I saw that
op-ed.
Yep.
About, these people are not even reading books and they're just, posting on top of their open books and things like that. That article pissed me right off. That was clearly had missed the point of Bookstagram entirely.
To me, that was also super judgmental. I've also seen numerous articles in the past about people who organize their libraries by color or books by color, or, whatever other method they choose, but they get a lot of slack. They get a lot of heat because of how they choose to take their photos and, display their books. To me, again, it's art. It's a personal choice. They're doing it. You're doing what you think is right. So why do you feel this need to book shame or just be mean to someone?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I definitely see it.
But a good point, if you want to stay happy, is to not shame people and not say negative things, especially if it's not something you agree with. Just move right along, and I promise you'll be happier.
Absolutely.
Overall, Tina, I loved your article. Like I said before, there are just so many things I know I can take away, and I'm sure there are other individuals on different book platforms that can take a lot away from your article. But I have to get your idea or your thoughts on, the rules of Bookstagram or the rules of BookTube or just any book community. Because while, we've been discussing and we've been talking, they're just some basic social norms and, just some things as human beings we should and should not do. But how do you feel about what I call the Bookstagram police? The people who are going around telling you this is not what you should do, shaming, and just, again, just essentially enforcing Bookstagram law. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think, what I'm going to say. There's no need for it. Unless, now I will put a caveat. If you do see somebody or an account or whatever that is stealing photos, that's not cool. There are some accounts that are on here that just blatantly will steal mine and others' photos and post it to their own Instagram page without credit, without asking. That's blatantly not cool, and I'm happy to call people out on that. That's like my one hard and fast, one of my hard and fast rules. The other one is don't be a jerk. If you, and don't be afraid to, I guess, call someone out when they are maybe posting something that is racist or posting something that is sexist. And maybe they don't realize it, maybe they do. I'm all about, I don't even know if that would be policing, but it's, kind of calling it as you see it. If it's done in an appropriate and trying to be constructive way. Other than that, the smaller things, it's not that serious at the end of the day. I don't know. What do you think about it?
No, that's honestly, I feel Bookstagram is not all that serious. How about that? Mm-hmm. 2, mm-hmm. Definitely people who steal photos. Bookstagram, yes, it's about reading and sharing books, but for the creators, it is a part of a creative process. So in my opinion, don't steal people's photos. Even if you're going to give credit, most times they give credit all the way at the end. But I think it's only nice and fair to message someone, and say, hey, can I use your photo ahead of time?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Because that is something we do. For example, we were sharing over on Biblio Finder, A Woman Is No Man by Taf Ram. It's one of our first recommendations. And we messaged everyone. Hi, we liked your photo. We liked your review. Can we share your photograph? But the problem is no one wants to do the work. No one wants to message anyone.
That's the thing. Exactly. And I'm more than happy to let people, use my photos. Again, if they message me and are trying to genuinely do it in a way like your account, like you just shared, I think that's totally above board. And yeah, I think that's great. It's a great way to get exposure. But there are, if you're just blatantly taking it, I don't understand the point. Why would you want to grow if it's not your work? I don't know.
I think it goes back to the obsession with numbers. And that's all some people, I'm not saying everyone, but it's clear that's what matters to a lot of people. They feel, 1, I want to have a big account. 2, the only way I'll be able to make money, which I don't understand why or how, but the only way I'll be able to make money or get partnerships or get free things is if I have a big account. So they're just willing to take anything that's pleasing to their eyes to help push their account in that direction. So
and hope that the other person won't see.
Exactly. So they're just banking on getting the attention of their audience while trying to block you out. Because I've had a personal experience where someone stole my photo, essentially stole my review with changing around a few words. I message them about it and then I get blocked.
Oh, the worst. That's happened to me before too. Oh my God, that's the worst. Yeah, I completely agree. That's the part. I mean, it's all your work. It's all your creation. But yeah, especially your words. Now, that I have not noticed in mine. That'd be a hard pill to swallow.
No, I mean, to me, I thought it was silly. You stole my photo, credited me without asking, but also stealing my review. Come on now.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you.
But anywho, I do think overall, Bookstagram is an amazing community. I tend to focus on the positives. I'm sure if we adhere to some of your tips on how to stay happy, it will make our experience even more pleasurable and amazing, and you just might meet some brand new friends.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's my hope. I just genuinely want people to be happy, and it kind of stresses me out when I see people are getting so stressed about their numbers or whatever the case may be. I don't think you need to have a ton of props or a ton of books that you own or anything like that. You really just need to be consistent, I would say.
Consistently posting photos, consistently sharing your thoughts, but they don't have to be carefully curated and perfectly photographed for you to achieve success.
And if they are, good for you. That's just not, I don't think it's a must.
It's not a need.
To be successful.
Right, right. It's an option. If you're happy doing it, go for it, but it's not a need is the most important thing.
Exactly.
So I know you provided so many tips on how to stay happy. I know we probably discussed some of this throughout the conversation, but what advice would you give to someone who is just starting out on Bookstagram, like ground zero, making their first few posts? What would you tell them? What advice would you give them to say, hey, this is what I wish someone would have told me when I was just starting my account?
Absolutely. There's so many things. So I would say, like we've been talking about, be consistent. Now that is however you choose to define it. It doesn't have to be every day like I do, but I think having, don't post once and disappear for a week and come back. If you must, fine, but I think being consistent is one of the things that really kind of helped me grow. I would say to try new things. I went through several iterations of my account before really kind of settling on, my couple, like I'm similar to you. I've got a couple spots in my house where I take photos and that's pretty much it. I would say be true to yourself and post what you like. If you enjoy what you're posting and you feel good about it, I think that's all that you need. And then find good lighting. That's kind of for me, the fastest thing. I'm happy to follow accounts back. I believe in following, big, small, it doesn't really matter. But if there's bad lighting or it's not, I basically follow the accounts that I think, not even that we have similar tastes, but that's one that'll make me unfollow or not follow is if they have terrible lighting. That's kind of a pet peeve, I guess, is mine. It sounds terrible, but it's true.
No, but you know what here's my thing. I think natural light is the best thing. I do understand that not everyone, has a home that has, the best natural light, but find the best lighting in your home. See, that's what I did. I found this one corner that is super sunny in the morning. Sometimes in the afternoon, it's even better. And it's funny. The two places that I take most of my photos, one is super sunny in the morning, one is super sunny in the evening. So
there you go.
That's my strategy because I don't have lights. And I just find that, artificial home lights, they're terrible. So in addition to your recommendation of good lighting, I'm going to add get good natural lighting. Find somewhere, a corner in your home, or even outside if you're brave enough to go out there in the big wide world and take your photos. Natural lighting is the best.
Absolutely, yeah. If you can do it, and again, I would say too, I pretty much take all of my photos over the weekend. I might take one or two on a given day, but I'm, out of the house most days during the day. So all of my natural lighting window is gone. So I just try and take all my photos for the week on a weekend and then, post when I feel appropriate.
Oh, that's another great idea. Taking your photos on the weekend, enough to last you for the week, 7, 8, and you're good to go.
There it is. See, we figured it out. We cracked the code.
We cracked the code. Exactly. How to Bookstagram. That should be a new article for you because you're the speed writer.
I got to build on this momentum.
I know. Oh, Tina, thank you so much for coming on the show. Everyone, I will leave a link to 18 things to let go of right now in the show details, and I guarantee you'll be a lot happier.
Well, thank you so much.
Alrighty, everyone, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening, and special thanks to Tina from TBR Etc. over on Instagram for coming on the show. I will leave all the links for Tina in the show details so you can connect with her. Don't forget to follow Biblio Finder and Biblio Happy Hour on social media and sign up for our newsletters. To listen to full episodes of our podcast, get behind the scenes content, weekly business updates, perks, and more, head on over to patreon.com/bibliofinder. And wherever you're listening, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show. When you do this, you're helping us to reach a larger audience, and it is one way you can help us to put independent bookstores at the forefront and make Biblio Finder plus the show a success. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to talking to you in our next show.